A song reaches a certain note, a cold breeze slips under your collar, a scene in a film hits just right, and without any warning, your skin erupts. Tiny bumps rise across your arms. The hair stands on end. A wave of it rolls down your spine. You didn't decide to do that. You couldn't stop it if you tried. Goosebumps feel like a small, meaningless quirk of the body, a little glitch. But they are one of the strangest things you do, because they are a message from an animal that no longer exists. Most people assume the answer is simple. You get goosebumps because you're cold. End of story. But that's only a sliver of the truth, and the real reason is far older and far stranger than a chill. Because your goosebumps are a reflex built for a body you don't have anymore. They are the ghost of your fur. To understand it, you have to look at what is actually happening in your skin. At the base of every single hair on your body sits a tiny muscle. It's called the erector pili. It is one of the smallest muscles you have, and you have millions of them. When it contracts, it pulls the hair upright and pushes up a small bump of skin around it. That is a goosebump. Millions of little muscles yanking millions of little hairs to attention all at once. And these muscles don't answer to you, they answer to adrenaline. The very same fight or flight chemical that floods your body when you're cold or frightened or overwhelmed. When that surge hits, every hair on your body stands up together, whether you want it to or not. And it happens faster than thought. Before you understand why, before your conscious mind has even caught up, the wave is already moving across your skin. You can be covered in goosebumps a full second before you could put a single word to what you're feeling. It is not a decision. It is a reflex far older than your ability to decide anything at all. Now on you, this does almost nothing. You have thin, wispy body hair. When it stands up, you get a faint, bumpy texture and not much else. But run that exact same reflex on an animal covered in thick fur, and suddenly it makes perfect sense. Watch a cat that gets startled. Its fur puffs out, its tail doubles in size, and in intense, it looks twice as big as it did a second ago. Watch a frightened dog, and the hair along its spine lifts into a ridge. This is the same muscles, the same reflex, the same adrenaline. And for them, it does two incredibly useful things. First, warmth. When a furry animal is cold, lifting all that hair traps a thick layer of airs against the skin like fluffing up a blanket. It's insulation instant and automatic. Second, and more dramatically, size. When a furry animal is threatened, all that raised hair makes it look bigger, taller, more dangerous than it really is. A puffed-up creature might just scare off a predator without ever having to fight. Standing your hair on end could save your life. And it is everywhere in the animal kingdom. A porcupine raising its quills into a wall of spikes. A little bird puffing itself into a round ball of feathers against the cold. A chimpanzee bristling all over to look huge and terrifying to a rival. All of it is the same reflex, the same tiny muscles, firing the same ancient command. Scientists call this reflex piloerection, and it is ancient. It goes back tens of millions of years to the small furry mammals we descended from. Every one of them relied on it every single day to stay warm and to stay alive. And then something happened to our particular branch of the family. Somewhere around 1 to 2 million years ago, our ancestors began to lose their fur. We became the strange naked ape with bare skin and only faint hair left behind. Nobody is completely certain why. The leading idea is that as early humans started walking and running long distances under the hot African sun, thick fur became a liability and sweating on bare skin became a better way to cool down. Whatever the reason, the fur went away. But here is the crucial part: the reflex did not. The muscles stayed, the nerves stayed, the adrenaline trigger stayed. Your body still fires the exact same ancient command: raise the fur, look bigger, trap the heat, every time you get cold or scared. It's just that the fur it's shouting at isn't there anymore. So when you shiver in the cold and your arms turn bumpy, that is your body trying to fluff up a warm coat you lost 1 million years ago. When something frightens you and the hair on the back of your neck rises, that is your body trying to puff you up to scare off a predator that is no longer there. Charles Darwin noticed this himself. In his book on the expression of emotions, he wrote about how humans bristle when they are furious or terrified, the hair standing up just like it does on a frightened animal. He understood that we were watching a leftover, a vestige of our animal past showing through. But there is one trigger that doesn't fit the pattern at all, and it might be the strangest thing your body does. You don't just get goosebumps when you're cold or afraid, you get them from beauty. A soaring piece of music, a voice that cracks at the perfect moment, a breathtaking view, a memory that hits you out of nowhere. That wave of chills has a name. Scientists call it frisson, and there is no obvious survival reason for it at all. Why would a reflex built to fluff fur and scare predators fire when you hear a beautiful chord? Researchers who study this think it comes back to that same emotional surge. At a moment of intense feeling, your brain releases a rush of dopamine and a spike. It's that same fight or flight chemistry. One study using brain scans found that the chills people feel from their favorite music line up with a flood of dopamine in the brain's reward system. The peak of the feeling and the wave down your arms happen together, and not everyone feels this the same way. Studies suggest that only about half to thirds of people get strong chills from music at all. The ones who do tend to be people who are more open, more absorbed, more easily swept away by an experience. Your goosebumps, it turns out, are a small window into how deeply you feel things. In other words, your body reaches for the oldest tool it has to mark a powerful moment. It can't tell the difference between the awe of a stunning song and the terror of a predator in the dark. It just knows something big is happening, so it does the only thing it has always done. It raises the fur that isn't there. And there is a fascinating twist buried in the biology. In 2020, a team at Harvard studying these tiny erector pili muscles discovered something no one expected. The same muscle and nerve that give you goosebumps are also directly connected to the stem cells that grow new hair. The goosebump system isn't just a leftover, it's wired into the machinery that regenerates your hair itself. A reflex we thought was pure junk turned out to be doing quiet work under the surface. So here is the part that changes everything. Goosebumps are not a glitch, they are a ghost. They are a perfectly preserved reflex from an animal that needed its fur to survive, still running inside a body that gave that fur away. Every time your skin prickles, you are watching a piece of your deep past surface for half a second. The cold you feel is the cold your furry ancestor survived. The fear that lifts your neck hair is the fear that once puffed up a small creature in the dark to save its life. And somewhere along the way, your species did something no other animal seems to do. You took that ancient survival reflex, the one built for cold and terror, and you pointed it at music, at art, at love, at the overwhelming feeling of something beautiful. You turned a warning system into a way of feeling wonder. So the next time a song hits that certain note, and the wave rolls down your arms, and your skin rises for no reason you can name, remember what it really is. It is not nothing. It is the oldest animal inside the zoo, reaching up to raise a coat of fur it hasn't had in 1,000,000 years, just because for one moment something moved you that much.